Okay, we're working on recovering our 2000 4Runner seats, which are the sport model seats. We're starting to get some rips in the seats, and they're starting to go. So it's time. Plus, we got our seats from a lady in Oklahoma, and they kind of have a stripper-like smell to them. So we're gonna take care of that stripper smell. Get that perfumey smell.
Or is that my fart?
Yep. So this one right here is already done. It's been sitting there for a day or so. The wrinkles there was some more wrinkles, and they tend to go out. But we also put seat heaters in there, and we'll go through that wiring harness and mounting the pads and everything. Turns out pretty good. This is the old headrest up here. You can see there's a little bit of a color difference, and I'll put the link for the guy who did the upholstery. They're about $330 a piece to do the full bottom and backs, and it's really high quality automotive leather. And we did new seat foams, and so here's our new seat foams over here, and
Ooh.
Yep, and these are the part. Yeah, let's get the part numbers. This is the seat back part number.
Well, don't we have to blur that out?
Nope, you don't have to blur that out. And then this is the seat pad right here. Get this part number. And these ones work perfectly with these seat covers. They're definitely much more firm than other ones I've done. The new pads are definitely nice. So that's what we're going to tackle, and we'll be back in just a second once we unpack and get things ready, and we'll show you how to tear it down and put them back together.
Bye-bye.
Okay, unfortunately I lost some of my video footage of disassembling the seat bomb. I'm going to try to walk you through it, what needs to be done just quickly. Mine's already taken apart, but yours is going to be the same. On the non-power button side, there's just 2 Phillips head screws. This plastic comes off along with all the free latte or whatever's on the bottom of that. We'll take it off and put it in the wash tub and scrub it and soak it off. The power button side is much more painful. There's 1 Phillips screw back here. There's a couple of areas of contact back here. And then there's 2 of these clips. You can see this one's broken. I ended up breaking it off. I'm about 60-40, about 60% success, 40% failure on taking these off. If you can push these 2 things together, it's just really hard to get to them, you can get them off. And then on the front, there's just a slip. This guy slips in from this direction. There's just a little tab right here. I have put these together broken before. It doesn't really seem to matter as long as you have one of them intact. This piece will be nice and stable and won't vibrate or make any noise or anything. So if you do break it, don't worry about it. I have done it myself. Once the 2 sides are off, I'm headed for the clean. You're going to end up taking off 4 bolts. There's 2 on either side to get the seat bottom off. There's 1 right here. This is the height adjustable driver's seat, meaning it's a sports seat. It also has lumbar support. You need to make sure this is adjusted in about the middle of the seat. Well, you don't absolutely have to, but it sure makes it easier if the seat height is adjusted to about the middle before you take it out of the car. You can run some power leads to it and do it after the fact, but that's kind of a pain. I would suggest just trying to get the seat height adjustment in the middle so that this bolt, otherwise you're going to have clearance issues on getting that out of there. On the other side, there's 2 bolts in about the same position, 1 up here and 1 down here. Clearance is also an issue on that other one. Once that happens, you probably have some wiring that you're going to need to disconnect, so probably flip the seat over and disconnect the wiring because there's wire connectors. Mine's already done, of course. On the bottom, you've got your springs and your metal steel support and the pad, the foam pad in here. There's going to be hog clips around here. just go ahead and cut those hog clips off. There's, I think 1, 2, 3, 4 across the front, and 1, 2, 3 on the, or 2 on the sides, and then 2 on the back. Once you do that, you should be able to disassemble the springs, and you should be able to get the foam out of this guy. There's also going to be hog clips right here, right? So there's going to be 4 along the side, 2 in the middle. So you're going to have to cut these and get these out of here. The Toyota ones are copper, so they tend to be kind of a pain because they tend to bend. I just use a side cutter and just go at them. Usually cut them once or twice and you can easily get them out. The other piece of your, so you don't, if you're going to reuse your foam, you know, it can be reused. I got new foam, like I said before, we went through the parts. The driver's side does not have the occupancy sensor on it. The passenger side has an occupancy sensor on it. Let me grab an occupancy sensor so you see what they look like. This is off my passenger side. I did not put it back, and I did actually test the passenger side without the occupancy sensor and without the seatbelt detect hooked up, and it was just fine. This has nothing to do with the airbag. It won't disable the airbag. The occupancy sensor / seatbelt warning light on the dash is not connected to the airbag system in any way. I verified that on the wiring diagram, so you don't really have to put it back in there. If you really want the flash warning, you're going to have to take this off your old pad if this is a passenger side. And I was able to clean the old adhesive off the back with just some alcohol, so if you wanted to clean up and reuse them, maybe put some spray adhesive on it, you can adhere it back. And these marks seem to indicate where that's going to go. This little box goes in this little box, and these squares show where this thing is supposed to go, and then it will hook up to your wiring harness. So in the don't ever throw that away parts bin now. Keep it forever, move it around for 5 years, and then eventually throw it away. One other thing you're going to have to reuse, I'm going to set this seat pad aside. There are some metal, you're going to have to, most new seat covers do not come with the metal hog ring clip stuff, and I've already moved mine over. It was in the footage that I lost. You can see I've moved this one over. They just slide into a sleeved contact right here. One other thing that I tend to do, and I think makes it a little bit easier, you can use where these are going to attach to the seat foam. I'll take a scratch awl or something sharp, and I just make sure that I puncture behind. This is where the hog clip is going to go. It just makes it easier. Make sure you just go behind where the metal is. And the tighter you can get your hog ring clips down to your seat foam, the nicer the definition and the fewer wrinkles that you're going to have, and you want it nice and straight on there. So once you have all of these, there's one here. I believe there's one up on the front right here. I did have to clip this to get it in the right spot. There's another one over here. There's one back here along the other back edge, and way on the back of the seat there's another one back here. So once you get those all transferred over, now I'm gonna put the seat heater pads onto my pad, and I'll be right back. Seat heaters. So I'm gonna go with the Dorman universal. It comes with a wiring harness, more on that later. Note to auto manufacturers, don't give me that. Just give me all the stuff I need to put it together, and I'll do it myself, because I end up cutting them all apart anyways every single time. Anyways, Also comes with the pads and a super cheesy little hog clip pliers and some hog clips, which are probably okay. I'll put a link in the video description to the one I used. Part of the reason I use this one over other ones is I actually like this just little teeny button. It's really easy to find a place to do this. It's just a 20 millimeter hole or like 25-30 seconds in freedom units with the dual action, either fried or just simmered. So that's part of the reason we did that. I'll be right back when I get this on. And once you get your seat pad heater on, there's some self-adhesive you peel off and stick it on, and it should look like that. So for the seat pad, you're going to start with your cover inside out. You want to get this in the middle, the two places where the hog rings hook up, the place where you put a hole in there. You'll drop your hog ring, of course. It helps to actually put a little bit of pressure on the hog ring pliers. Once again, you want to try to get these as tight down into the seat as you possibly can, and they just fold up into a triangle. It is pretty foolproof, I think. You can totally tell exactly where all the hog rings are supposed to go. I do like to preload my hog rings just a little teeny bit. These are fairly large size hog rings, so okay, and that's the process, and we're just going to go around. I'm not going to show you all the boring footage. You got to get all these connected. Once we get them connected, then we can do the rest of them. Okay, it's a little hard to see, I know. I'm filming by myself. I'm going to try to show you. You can see where the hog ring is going to clip onto this piece of wire. And I already put a little hole through this mesh because it's kind of hard to get. Even though the hog rings are sharp on the end, you can see that they are a little bit hard to get through there sometimes on this brand new fabric. So I'm going to load up my hog ring, and like I said, I like to just I give them a little, for some reason I just find it easier to get them in. And I'm just going to work from front to back. I want to make sure that I'm pretty straight here first. All right, looking pretty good. And once you get the hog ring through, and make sure that it's around the metal. It's going to be a little bit hard to see, but get it through here. And you're just going to press it all the way down and go through some of the foam as well. And make sure you get it crimped down. And you can see, I don't know if you can see or not. Turn my foam. The wire inside the foam and the hog ring and this guy are joined together, and you want these as tight as possible, like I said before. So hopefully that gives you an idea, and you just have to go around and do all the places, and then I'll be back once I get them all done. So now I have all my hog clips connected. You might want to just visually check to make sure that you're nice and straight on the seat foam. If you're not, things aren't going to turn out nicely for you. So it takes, you might as well look, make sure everything's nice and straight in the right places. Double check it, because you don't really want to have to tear it apart again. That's really not that much fun. So then we're just going to basically turn it over and turn these guys inside out, or Yeah. From inside out to right side out, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. And you might have to stuff seat foam back up in here a little bit. There is a reason why people do this professionally, and other people pay them to do it for them. It is a little bit of a pain. And you should, and we're going to pull these guys in. You might have to work it a little bit. When we pull it up in, you'll see there should be, there's a piece right here that will pull this, and this will be like a dross, you know, it's like a belt. Goes around here and it will cinch this whole thing down in here. Oh, here's the other one right here. So on both sides, just make sure you don't pull this all the way through. I don't think it's probably possible to do it. I'll usually start up here and work my way around and pull it nice and tight. If you don't, you'll get big gather marks up here on the front. You'll get big wrinkles up on there. It doesn't bother you, but I guess I'm trying to make it look nice. This is why it's really important, is that these give you that nice definition in your seat. There just seems like there's always a little bit of wrinklage in the seat bottom. Usually most of it will go away once we stretch this guy in here. So now we're ready for our old piece. I usually route, or at least I did in the last one when I'm doing, I've only done a couple seat heaters. I usually route this guy up underneath here, just so he doesn't get super pinched. It might actually be a good idea to move him up through the foam, but I haven't run any problems yet. But I can't say that I've had 10 years worth of experience doing seat heaters, so they're a fairly new thing for me. So let's make sure we get them seated up into the foam. One thing about the new foam, if you're on the fence about trying to source it or find it, my 2 cents is it's totally worth it. There's so much funk smell inside 20-year-old foam. You'll be blown away by how much better your truck actually smells on the inside by replacing the old foam. The foam really soaks up the smell seriously. Okay, so same program really here. These hog clips, there's 4 on the front and there's 3 on the sides, and you can put 3. I think I usually just do 2. Maybe we'll go 3 on the back. Any place there's a slot like this is generally where the hog clips are going to go. And so this guy is going to be something like that. It's hard to film by myself. I am gonna put a couple holes in about the right location here. Get the hog clip going. These first couple are pretty easy to start. It's the ones that come after that are a little bit more of a pain. And the last couple on the back. Actually, the seat cushions, the seat bottoms, are nothing compared to the back. The back is the reason why you pay somebody else to do this. It's a lot of fun. All right, now that we have these two guys connected, and some seats don't come with the holes pre-cut. These ones did. It's pretty nice. Otherwise, you might have to guess and chow that baby out of there. Actually, I probably might need to go get some help to do this, because you generally need someone to really, if you want this to turn out nicely, you need someone to really pull on these guys. So let me get some assistance to help me, and then I'll be back. Alright, wasn't able to get any help, so I just kind of had to go Hulk on it. I didn't want to film myself swearing as much as I was. Just make sure you get all the hot clips, make sure you pull this in as far as you can. You still want to make sure you can get the bolts in. Don't worry about it if there's a little bit of wrinklage around the bottom. It's going to be covered up anyways by the bottom of the seat. You might have to work some of the foam in a little bit, and this will expand, and most of the wrinkles, like, you know, after a couple of days they work their way out. And then, like I said, it seems like this portion of the seat really always has a couple of wrinkles in it. I think that's just how it is. The new foam is much better than the old foam. Totally worth it. It might take you a couple of months to source it nowadays. It's getting really tough to find these foams. But I think it's worth it. So there you go. Brand new 3rd gen seat bottom for the driver's side. I'm going to take actually the old seat out and probably use the air on it and blow some of the, I'm not even sure what's on that seat after 17 years. Don't even want to know. And then I'll be back, and I'm going to show you how you tear down the back. Okay, I changed my mind. I'm going to take the back off before I spray it off, because I'm sure the top is bad too. These little lumbar supports, if you have them, I don't know about the crank things. This one still has its plastic clips and it's adhered in there pretty good. There's just a little bit, if you just use a little screwdriver on the ends and a little, once you find there's just a little, there it is. Not the button, don't do the button part. There we go. There's just little wings on this, and that's all it takes is a little bit of pressure, and you can take it apart without breaking it, hopefully. And then there's just a little clip on this one side, and this clip comes up. Clip comes up like that. It's tough to do it. There we go. Like that, and this wiring harness, and then you have your lumbar adjust guy. It's really tough to find these unbroken. Most of them have been broken previously. Okay, once you get that, on the back side, I want to make sure you can see this. Hopefully we can see this on the back side. On the back side of the seat, up in this slot, there's just a plastic retainer up in here. And once again, little magic screwdriver. If you use the little magic screwdriver, once you get them started, ouch. Once you get it started, it just peels out. It's just a plastic. The light's probably terrible in there. The plastic just should come right out. Okay, so now that we got the lumbar support out and we got the bottom part, we're just gonna, as we say at my house, we're gonna take the seat's pajamas off. And we're just gonna peel this guy up. You can't take the top headrest retaining stuff off from the outside. You have to take it off from the inside, and I'll show you what those look like. And kind of keep in mind here, you put them on just like you take them off. You could cut it off, I guess, if you're not planning on removing it. But I think it's easiest to turn them inside out and peel them up. Once you get them going, it goes pretty easy. But the backs, like I said before, are definitely the reason why people pay other people to do this. Like I said, once you get them inside out, they actually peel up pretty easy. The back rests only have 2 hog clips there and there. So again, I just use a side cutter. We're just going to cut these guys off, hopefully. From the back. Oh yeah, much easier from the back. Unless it's not. Okay. So this is generally how you're going to start the install of the new one, as well as inside and out. Inside out and that orientation. Turn this guy around. The seat back of the driver with the lumbar support also has an extra pad on it. And I'm going to try to transfer that over to the new one because I know that I wasn't able to get exactly the same part numbers from Toyota. And my understanding is the only difference is there's a knockout here for the lumbar and the extra thing for the pad. So as long as you can take care of those 2 things, you should be fine. So these guys have to be taken out from the inside. And it's impossible to show you what this is like, but I think when you see the connector, you'll see why. And there's just 2 tabs. Once you see the tabs, you'll go, oh, that's how that works. Okay? So, let me get this out of the way so we get some good light in here. You can see the tabs are kind of penis shaped. And so you just push these 2 things together and they catch on a little cylinder in there, and then this will let them go. So that's how you can get that off. And then the seat foam just comes right off. No problem. I'm going to work on taking this off and transferring this over to my new seat foam. Hopefully I can kind of just take a utility knife, it's probably hard to see, there's not good light in here, and work my way around it, and then I'm just going to use some spray adhesive, just like some 3M spray adhesive, and stick it back on there. It's kind of, has kind of a fabric-y thing, and I would guess that kind of slides on the lumbar support. And once again, you'll need to transfer this metal piece off the old one to the new one. This is the only place where you're going to need to do that. And then, at least the ones I have, the clipping mechanism is a zipper on the new one, which is super fun. We'll get there. All right, we got the new foam on with a 1/2-inch replacement lumbar, brand new foam for the lumbaring part of the seat. And from this side, got our new ear pad on our new seat foam. And then we're just I'm gonna route, here's the power, I'm just gonna route the power for this guy down along the lumbar motor guy, and we'll hook him up with the... Okay, now for the swearing and the yelling and the fun part. I transferred the hog clip retaining steel tension thing on there. I've got my pad totally inside out. If you try to do it any other way, not inside out, you're not going to be able to slide it over the foam. I've seen people put plastic bags over it, which does help, makes it easier. but then you got to try to get the plastic bag out of there, which is kind of a pain. So, like we took the pajamas off of the seat, we're going to put the pajamas back on the seat. And we're going to just start rolling them down and kind of go side by side. And this needs to be straight. If it's not straight, you have no hope whatsoever in life of getting your new seat cover on. There's no way it's going to happen. It's kind of hard to do it even when it's absolutely perfect, so forget about that. And just take your time and kind of go back and forth until you get them going straight. And down to the spot where you're going to do your hog clips. It might take more than one try of rolling it up and rolling it back down. I can already see I'm going to be off by just a little bit. Maybe not. Oops. I'm gonna roll it all the way down to see if I'm good before I put my hog clips on and roll it back up a little bit. Well, not too bad. Let's see if it's gonna work. And you might have to, like with the seat bottom, come back up here and work this guy, work the top of the seat a little bit. To get him off in here. And we'll see how close I got. Oh, actually pretty close. You shouldn't be able to see any more foam, but it's really close. I'm absolutely 100% sure that the invention of the map pocket in the back was for stretching seat foam and had nothing to do with map storage. Because it's the spot where you can get in and really work it down in here. And then they said, hey, let's call it a map pocket. Where it's really for putting the leather on. Okay, I think we're gonna be good for our attempt. So I'm gonna bring this guy back up. Do the hot clips on him. These ones aren't the easiest hot clips to get on. Nothing about the seat back I don't think is really easy. The zipper part's really a huge pain. Passenger seat actually wasn't too bad. All right, these guys are good. Roll them back down here, and then I'll have to get some help because there's no way you can do the zipper all by yourself. There's just no way. Unless you be Hulk. Hulk would be able to do it. Actually, Hulk is a really good upholsterer. Like I said, just slowly kind of work it on both sides. Make sure you get it down as far as you can. When you do your final flip, you can use that pocket and push it down as far as you can, because you're really going to need to stretch this baby. All right, let me go get some help and we'll get the zipper done, and this part will be good. Okay, this was totally not fun, and we weren't filming. We were just fooling around to see if we could do it, and it worked. And there's no way we're taking that thing out of there again. So what we did to do this, there was no way it was going to happen without a little help. So number one, I've got a bent piece, and I don't know, I actually have a metal bender, so I took this little piece of, I don't know, a 3/16 inch rod so I could fit it up in here, and I was able to pull on it and be able to pull on here. And then we put actually a string in the zipper, because the problem is you need to be able to pull in two different directions, this way and this way at the same time, and then there's no room for the person to pull on the zipper. So by using the string, you can pull on the zipper without getting, you can pull on the string and the zipper at the same time without getting in the way, and someone can really crank these. You really need to be strong to get these two things to go together. They're kind of nutters. So we're gonna finish this up, and then we'll show you what the end result is. You can go or stay, it doesn't matter. Okay, we got it all zipped together on the bottom, and then I'm just gonna tuck these guys in here, and then I'm gonna put the seat. I'm just gonna bolt the seat back on, and then I'm gonna do some wiring harness stuff, which I'll shoot a little bit different video. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Okay, so now it was time to do some wiring harness stuff. This is the wiring harness that they sent, and this is the wiring harness that I came up with. Much simpler, much shorter, and it works exactly like the factory one, where I'm just going to run a lead from the ACC part of the fuse box off a tap of fuse, which will look something like this. So it's kind of like tap a fuseception. They're only 10 amps, so we'll tap the fuse and then we'll tap up, tap off, the tap up for the fuse thing. Anyway, so I'll come back once I make another one of these wiring harnesses, and then we'll put it into the seat, and we'll also do the button. Okay, now we have two identical wiring harnesses, and I was able to eliminate about that much of wire per wiring harness so far. And I still have to run the default run, so it's not really going to be probably about an equal amount of wire in the wiring harnesses based upon, you know, I got to run the passenger a little bit further. They're only 10 amp fuses, so I'm not really worried about it too much. Theoretically, the relay should be as close to the high voltage as possible. But let's talk about where the switch is going to go. So as far as switching locations, the only place I could really find that I liked, which was on the seat, because I wanted to keep it totally self-contained on the seat, so there would be only one plug to unplug. I didn't want to distribute new switches and stuff all over the truck, so the heater is totally self-contained on the seat itself. So the only place I could really find to do that was here. So we put a nice little clean 20 millimeter, geez, I'm having trouble, 20 millimeter hole. Thread our switch through, make sure it's on the up and up. Get in there. And it just presses in nice. Okay. So now that's going to be our new heater switch location. So this is the bottom of the passenger seat, and I'm just going to kind of walk you through how that works. So here's that switch location right here. That switch wire. This is, like I said, the only place that I could find for space for that switch behind here. That switch wire comes up here and then trips that relay and then distributes. Here's where this is the one power lead, which is right down here by the factory seat. So I'm gonna follow the same exact routing that the factory seat wiring is, and they're gonna be taped together. And so here's that provides power. And then from the relay, obviously, we have up here, and then these go to both of the pads. So that's how the seat heater is wired. So to me, that really simplifies things. You're not running switches and things up under the dash, which is already cluttered. So now the seat is really cluttered, but it wasn't super cluttered before. So we took care of cluttering up the seat. So that's how this works, and I'm going to finish up my driver's seat and then we'll take a look at it. So the last thing I wanted to do before I was done was test the range of motion with my new wiring harness, just to make sure that we didn't put a wire in a stupid place or something and make it get scrunched or pinched or anything, and it looks good. So it took the better part of a weekend to do it, but hopefully it's done right and it won't give me too many problems. Probably should have done the headrests too, because they don't exactly match and they're still old, but I guess I can do that in the future at some point. I'm pretty happy with the results so far. I've tested the seat heaters, the range of motion, that stuff all worked. I'm happy with where the button turned out. I think that'll be just perfectly fine on both sides. So, got nice new covers for my 4Runner. Hopefully maybe the video was a little bit helpful. It was a huge pain in the butt to do it, but well worth it. Saved, I don't know, some money. Not a ton of money, but at least I'll know that if there's anyone to blame, it's me. Okay, peace out.